Today on 21st Century Business, explore state-of-the-art technology, innovative business strategies, insights from cutting-edge corporations around the globe, a visionary look into the answers of tomorrow, today. Business leaders, business solutions, 21st Century Business.
Welcome to 21st Century Business. I'm Jackie Bales. For corporations and law firms, document review now represents 70% of their eDISCOVERY spend. However, much of that money is spent reviewing documents that are, in the end, completely irrelevant to their case. Attorneys need an eDISCOVERY solution that not only lowers costs and risk, but increases efficiency and effectiveness at the same time. Well, here to discuss that solution, we have Jim Blaney, CEO, and Andy Kraftso, Chief Scientist of Renew Data Corporation. Welcome, Jim and Andy.
Jackie, thanks for having us.
Nice to be here, Jackie.
Jim, first of all, tell us more about the challenges with the traditional eDISCOVERY process.
Sure, Jackie. As you said earlier, 70% of the cost of eDISCOVERY is now in document review. And that is really, from a cost perspective, the tail wagging the dog of the legal system.
So, Andy, what solutions do you have at Renew Data that address those challenges?
Well, Jackie, at Renew, we've created something that we call language-based analytics. And the idea of language-based analytics is to use human reading comprehension, the understanding of language that our attorney clients have of their client's domain, to figure out which documents have a possibility of being relevant and which do not, so they don't waste their time on that 80% that have no bearing on the case.
So let's take a deeper look into Renew Data Corporation's eDISCOVERY solutions in this 21st Century Business Field Report.
Renew Data Corporation's transparent language analysis technology helps attorneys quickly identify the relevant documents they must review, while avoiding those with no bearing on the matter. This saves valuable time and money for attorneys, like David Dusner of Bradley Arent Bolt Cumming.
We had a large case, very complex case, with several million documents in it. And so after looking at the options, we felt that the language-based analytics made the most sense for us because we were able to use a dedicated team of small attorneys to get through the most relevant documents as quickly as possible, as opposed to having an army of contract attorneys involved.
What methods have traditionally been used to try to lessen the document review load?
Well, traditionally, keyword filtering has been the primary tool used to cull a data collection. And traditional keyword filtering is a very sound concept, but it's been proven to be underly inclusive because you missed synonyms, or overly inclusive because you included false positives.
Jim, is there an alternative to traditional keyword filtering?
Well, today you hear a lot of buzz in the marketplace about machine coding, technology-assisted review, what some call predictive coding. We think language-based analytics is a better and more appropriate solution than predictive coding.
What's wrong with predictive coding, Andy?
Well, kind of two things. The idea of predictive coding is that you can train a machine to understand what documents are talking about. The problem with that is machines have no reading comprehension. Jackie, there isn't a machine on this planet that has the reading comprehension of a 10th grader.
Right.
So that's the first problem. The second problem is that the algorithms that are used to actually do that language analysis are so complex, they're really multi-dimensional spatial algorithms, that they're beyond the understanding of virtually any attorney. And so you've got them in a situation where they're using a tool they can't explain to a judge, whose results they don't really understand, and whose results at the best are really just okay. And so it's not really a great appropriate fit.
Tell me about language-based analytics. What is that?
So the idea of language-based analytics is that humans understand what words mean in context. And so to find the relevant documents in a collection means really identifying the language that was used to discuss those topics. We have a method for extracting the vocabulary from the documents, showing that vocabulary to the attorney clients and saying, use your head. What do you know about language? If this case is talking about misrepresentation, which of these words could possibly communicate that concept? And by analyzing the words, it's the best path to finding the relevant documents and avoiding the non-relevant documents. For a document to be relevant, it has to have some word or words that communicate the concepts you care about.
So it sounds like you would end up with a much clearer result, ultimately. How exactly does the process work, though? It sounds complicated.
Well, it really isn't very complicated. It's sort of two steps. The first step is to figure out which documents you want to ignore. So which documents fail to have the words that would communicate the concepts you care about. And usually it takes a couple hours to figure out which documents do and do not have those words and what those words are. And in those few hours, you usually eliminate more than 60% of the document collection from the requirement of review. So that's a big saving. Then after that, what we do is we have the attorneys start reading the documents, and every time they see language and they say, oh my goodness, look, what I just read, this language here makes this document relevant to the topic I care about, we ask them to highlight it. And in the background, our system simply goes out and finds every other document that has that same language. Putting those two things together, you reduce the amount of documents that have to be read by 80% at least.
Wow. And Jim, how certain are you of this approach to eDiscovery review?
Well, Jackie, we're so certain of these results that today we're willing to guarantee those results.
Wow.
If you look at the dozens of cases we've done, we've analyzed those, we know this works. So if a client is willing to use our language-based analytics tools and workflow, along with our librarians and consultants like Andy for their processing and first pass review, typically renewed data will guarantee you won't have to read more than 20% of the collection. If you read more than 20%, Jackie, what we will do is we'll refund 110% of the language-based analytics tools, the librarians and consultants' billable hours. We will customize this guarantee after a free initial consultation with the client about the case.
Well, Jim and Andy, it was really great to have you with us today. Thank you so much for sharing the time and money-saving eDiscovery solutions that you provide at Renew Data.
Thanks for having us, Jackie.
Our pleasure to be here.
For 21st Century Business, I'm Jackie Bales. Thanks for watching.